What is up to all the difference makers out there? Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Grit. I think this is the 87th episode, and super excited. Our guest today has all the combinations of the things that I love to have on this episode. He's somebody that has found a way to live his purpose and passion outside of the box, outside of some of the traditional ways and outside of a traditional job. He is somebody that's had to overcome barriers and is still pushing through barriers as he's building that purpose and passion. This guy, I was able to meet him a couple years ago now. It was over 2 years ago. It was right in 2020, right during COVID, right at the height of COVID, around May, June, and he had actually reached out to me about being on this show. And at the time, I was kind of in a hiatus. I had only had 9 episodes that were released, and I had taken time off through COVID, and Casey reached out to me. And so he was the very first person I had back through that COVID process and really kicked off kind of Coffee and Grit now, and where it's kind of morphed, because before that it was like something, am I doing this, am I not? And so Casey kind of really kicked that off. Unfortunately, through our episodes, like kind of the life happens kind of things, we had such a phenomenal episode, and my camera didn't work, which is one of the reasons why being at the podcast studio here at Speakeasy is just so phenomenal, because I've had that happen so many times where I'd have such a great episode and like the clip that I wanted to cut was frozen, or in this case, the film for the whole entire episode was ruined. And so it's cool to have Casey back for that reason, one, but two, kind of we were able to, through meeting and having that conversation, Casey is somebody that has constantly stayed in front of me. And I love those kind of people that constantly reach out and stay in front of me. And he, again, had this purpose and this reason, this passion that he loves doing, but it's like finding a way to, again, turn that into a full-time career. And so he would reach out to me and have conversation, and then we'd drop off and not have communication for a few months. And I remember one time we were talking about him building this YouTube page, and we kind of stopped talking. I didn't talk to him for about 5-6 months. And then one day I stumble upon this YouTube page and I see all these videos, and there are people in life, there's just difference makers. And there are so many people that I've given advice to. There's so many people that have called me, reached out to me, I've sat down and I've given hours to, and have given them advice or strategies or helped them find whatever it was they were looking for, that have not went out and did the things. And they wake up in the same position today that they did 2-3 years ago. And so when I saw all these videos, I mean, I saw hundreds of videos that Casey was putting out there on YouTube, I reached out to him, because I was like, this is so awesome, man. I love people that go out there and put the action in. And so it's been a couple of years, and we've stayed in touch. And then over a few months ago, Casey reached out to me and was like, I'm at this point and I need to I think that I've got something here. And so we've been working closely together, and I'm super excited to talk about what he has, because I'm telling you what, as somebody that's looked at growing a YouTube page, it's hard. And so when Casey came to me and was like, I don't know where to go with this next, and I'm seeing all the subscribers, all the views, all the hours, like hours and hours and hours of view time that he has on his page, it's like, you've got something here. Let's run with this. And so without further ado, and me babbling on, Casey Campbell, welcome to the show, man.
Oh, there we go. Thanks. Yeah, good to be back on. It's a little bit different, different digs. I like the place. It's pretty nice, gotta say. Yeah.
You like put the headphones on, you're like, oh, this is official.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've been on tons and tons of podcasts before, but it's just, yeah, but this is probably the most official I've had do this. So yeah.
Super awesome, man. Welcome to the show. And again, kind of dive in. What is your podcast and your page about?
So basically what it is, it's the Casey Campbell podcast. A lot of people ask me, like, what is it? Like, it's like, I primarily do the YouTube stuff, and, welcome on different coaches, different athletes, different drivers, and from all realms of sports and all that stuff. And we've had a lot of success with it, and it's growing. Coaches, I'm actually talking with a lot of them today, and we'll see where it all goes. And with football season just ended, boys basketball season, girls basketball season, hockey season. We've had coaches on in those respective sports, and yeah, it's been fun. And racing season just ended as well, so that'll get going again in January and February, and we're just going to keep going from there.
That's super awesome. So like, it's so cool because we talked about you created this page.
Yeah.
Like, how did you start out just going out and doing those interviews with the high school athletes?
I mean, for people that have followed me a lot over the years, it's, regardless of who I've been with, it's, I just have gone out and done it and, upload them to YouTube. So yeah, it's just, I have a lot of coaches that I've known for a long time and trying to figure out, timing and doing all that stuff, like going out and doing the interviews, Brighton, Howell, Heartland, Novi, Northville, Pinckney, Fowlerville are areas I've covered in the past, Milford, Lakeland, both South Lions, Chelsea, Dexter, Detroit Catholic Central for a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, and plus we're just reaching out to more and more coaches as well in different areas. And we've had a lot of success with it.
Well, that's what we were just talking about. You haven't done like that winter sport in a while, basketball, hockey, and you're jumping into it this season. And I can see already you're having a lot of success with it.
Yeah. And it's good to get back into it. Obviously I didn't, it just felt like at the time, I don't think I was ready to do that. And, now I feel like I've taken, the necessary steps I need to kind of, get back into, this again and do all that. And we've kind of gone from there and I've just got this drive, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this again.
At what point in this is an interesting answer. I haven't asked you this. At what point did you say, I think I have something here?
Well, I've always known I've had something. It's just trying to figure out like where to go with this. You can build through YouTube. It's very hard, very difficult. I think, we talk every week. It's difficult getting those subscribers, and, there's a lot of people that have followed me for a long time, but they're like, oh yeah, we're not subscribed yet. Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's that, just, just getting out there and people and, getting the videos off like I had them on for like a year for about like the made for kids segment because I really didn't know what it meant. And then of course a friend of mine who's another YouTuber told me, like, yeah, turn that off. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then subscriber count just grew. So I think we're almost to 600. I think we hit the 300 mark, the 400 mark, and the 500 mark all this year.
Yeah.
So we're accomplishing a lot throughout there. So yeah,
it's moving. And so for those that don't know, getting on the YouTube partner program where you're a sponsored advertiser for YouTube, you have to get to 1,000 subscribers and then 4,000 hours of viewed video time throughout a year period of time.
Yep.
And you're right there with the viewed video time. It's getting to that 1,000 subscriber rate. So see that growing consistently is really cool.
It is. I honestly cannot believe it's grown so much this year. I'm all like, oh, yep. I think I checked last night. I lost one, and then I'm like, oh, I gained one again. So yeah, it's just a lot of people that I've known for a long time, and yeah, it's kind of interesting. This is an interesting area to cover. So. It's where I've lived all my life. Obviously I went to Brighton for many people that don't know. But I think, Livingston County and maybe really just the KLAA has really kind of succeeded. We've had a lot of traction from, really everywhere I kind of went. So, yeah. Yeah.
So what is it about sports and journalism? How did you get into this?
I just always have had a passion for it, and, working with different people throughout my career and all that. And I just went from there.
That's cool. So for people that have listened to my show, they've heard me say this quite a few times. We might have talked about this, but I always, in high school, I wanted to be a sports journalist. I think we probably talked about this on the first show.
Yeah, we did.
And so it's one of those things of thinking about it back then. I wanted to be one of two things. I either wanted to be a psychologist or I wanted to be a sports journalist. And I was like, there's far too much school and money for me to pay to go to be a psychologist. That's far too long. To go into sports journalism, I was doing that. And then I just kind of got sidetracked because I was going the traditional route. I was going to school and I was thinking about getting a job in working for somebody. Back then, there weren't the options to start a YouTube page or to really do what we're doing now.
Right.
Now, fast forward and to see you can create that. You don't have to go get that traditional job. What does that feel like?
It feels pretty good. And it was like, coming from a background where you have to get a traditional job, it's like, yeah, no, it's those days are kind of like, different fields. Yes. If you want to be an engineer, obviously you have to go get one and all that stuff. There's obviously some jobs where you need that job. But in this business, there's so many things that you can do with it. But obviously it takes time because, you do all these side jobs and all that stuff and trying to, work on that and go from there. And yeah. So you don't need to have a job to just do something like this. It's, it's good, but it's also bad because you don't have the training on this. I didn't go to a 4-year university. I went to community college and, I always knew what I kind of wanted to do with it and the avenue I kind of wanted to go. But I feel like that just getting to where I am now, I feel like, I'm not there yet. I'm not even close.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm on the right path or something. Yeah.
Well, it's so cool because was this October? My months blur in. We were in Toledo.
Yeah.
So October, I went down with you and I met you down there in Toledo.
Yeah, that was fun.
Super fun. But it was super fun to see you in this element. And this was for the ARCA racing, the ARCA championships.
The ARCA championship race at Toledo, yep.
So we were downtown Toledo, and first off, I've never been in a hotel room like that.
Yeah, the Hilton, that was an impressive place that we've been at. And big shout out to ARCA for, getting that together. I know that the people that I've talked to over there want to continue that relationship with that hotel property and, and just having and being down there for that weekend alone was probably by far the most fun weekend I've had covering a race because earlier that day we were at Southview High School, which is, for many people that don't know, it's in Sylvania, Ohio, which is right on the tip of Ohio and Michigan. So one of the drivers, Greg Van Els, who drives in the series, showed off his car to a bunch of the welding and the marketing students at Southview. So it was good to see that racing's kind of, reaching out to the next generation because, people aren't going to know about this if not sold on this. I've got into NASCAR because my dad just watched it and my grandfather raced at times and, look where I am now.
Yeah.
It's been good. I never expected the sport would give me so many opportunities, and it has.
Well, and that's what's so cool is because you talk about the sport giving you that opportunity, and I'm down there and I'm watching, and it's in this hotel suite. It's like this, 2-level hotel room, and there's press everywhere. There's ABC and NBC and a bunch of different press, and you're getting first pick of who to interview, and you're a really well-respected member of the press for that organization. So to see you build that in the outside of the box way, your Casey Campbell podcast versus ABC and NBC.
Yeah, it's with local affiliates there, obviously television stations were covering all throughout Toledo, and that's even more impressive because all 3 of the TV stations that are in Toledo were all at the Southview event. So Yeah, it's just to see that weekend covered and all that. But yeah, I mean, I've always, I've been, doing this for quite a while. You just, you just kind of, look at people and like, yeah, they're just there and I'm just doing my thing. And yeah,
that's so awesome. Like they're just there and I'm doing my thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
How far have you come in your interviews over the course of the years because how many videos do you have posted on YouTube right now?
I don't even know.
I want to say it's like 4,500 or something like that. It was like 2,500, just a lot.
I want to say like I looked and counted on there was like 2,000.
Yeah, it was like
something.
2.5K or something like that.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, around there.
Yeah,
it's it's a good time to go out there and just to get a lot of things and just reaching out and seeing what I can get and go from there.
You just like talk like through that repetition of doing all those interviews.
Yeah.
What is that? Have you seen that growth from?
Yeah,
when
I have.
you started to.
Yeah, it's been good. Just knowing what to say. I kind of have an idea of what I want to ask, and kind of go from there. And obviously, when you're doing previews, you kind of ask the same questions and all that. But when you're interviewing different athletes, some coaches will have different like. Some coaches are in their first year and all that. So you get to ask those kinds of questions. And then, different athletes have different types of things and all that. So, yeah.
You talked about like, you didn't think you'd ever like get to these points and seeing these subscribers.
No.
What are some barriers that you have had to overcome?
Yeah, I've just a lot of things. So just, it's basically the story of my life. Obviously many people know that I'm on the autism spectrum. And so obviously that creates its own sets of challenges. Yeah, I mean, you're always overcoming something, I think. And, just learning, experiencing, making your own mistakes. It's really helped me to get to where I am today.
That's so awesome. And it's like, this learning experience that I love how you're just like every day you're overcoming a challenge.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's important. I love talking and having this conversation, but I think like as the audience is listening in, if they haven't heard that episode, I'd highly go back. I suggest go back and listen to that episode. But like we dive in a little bit deeper. But as you're listening, like it's hard enough to do this without having a barrier. But then you have something like you're going through autism and you're like trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah. Like
figuring it out and doing it essentially on your own, of building and going out and getting the interviews and going out and having these conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
It is. So,
what's been the fun of like, I guess the sweet thing, what's been the coolest thing you've done in this past year?
Oh, geez. You and I have had these conversations, but yeah, it's been fun. I've gotten to do a lot of fun stuff. And, we talked about this, going to places that I've never been to before. In June, we went to the ARCA race at Berlin. That was a fun place on the west side of the state. Really, I've never been to the west side of the state before. And yeah, obviously, driving through there because I've been to Chicago many times and all that. But not really to stop there and see what's going on over there. I mean, it's like this. Yeah, it's just it's a nice part of the state, and going out there and visiting that place and seeing there, well, that was pretty cool. Mid Ohio, we did for the first ever truck race there at Mid Ohio, so that was a part of the country. And by the way, I'm just doing all these things on my own, not having anybody with me, and that was a big part in. That's also been a kind of a big part in this is, it's tough for me to go. I mean, driving down through 3 hours by myself, it was pretty interesting. So yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about with the barriers is like, it's not like just jumping in the car. You're going on these new experiences and doing things that you really quite literally didn't think that you would ever do.
Right. Yeah. I didn't think I would ever do that.
Like, how awesome is that? And I know we've talked about it.
Yes.
So it's not like I know, but how awesome is that when you do something like you go to Toledo and you're gone for the whole entire weekend?
Yeah, it's nice. It's you're by yourself doing all this stuff, and it is a pretty cool experience. It is a pretty cool experience to kind of be a part of, just be a part of all this. It's something that you don't take for granted. You don't know when it's going to end, so you never take it for granted. And I never do. It could end just like that. So you just have to go out there and perform your best and cover it like it's your last, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the approach I've been kind of taking with that.
That's so cool, and I think it's maybe why you take that action and you just did it, because I talked at the beginning. There's so many people that say they're going to do something, and there's so many people that would be amazing if they went and did it.
Yeah, but
you went out and you did it.
Yeah,
and like seeing the growth now, it's like, again, you went from the 200 to 300 to 400 and it's just continuing to grow and grow. Where's it going to next?
I don't know. Let me get back to you on that.
Well, we were talking about before we got on. We were talking about like Talladega and just talking about some of the cool things that you want to do.
And I know that working with you, I know that's a discussion that I know that you and I have had, and you and other people have had. I do want to get to those places. It's it would be huge to do a lot of those things, because there's a group chat that I'm in with a bunch of reporter friends that I have, and we're all talking about what we want to do, and a lot of them are in the same situation I am, and we were all talking about what's your schedule for next year and all that. So just planning on doing this. Lots of big stuff. I'm not going to say what yet, but don't want to spoil anything, because I don't want to confirm anything, because like I said, you never know. But I have some new places I want to go. So I'll just say that.
Well, and so it's like, not only just, is it in part of like the adventure is in that adventure too? It's going out and doing hitting those big venues.
Yeah, it is. It's, I always like going to new places where I've never been to. So it's going to be an interesting year to do all that, because, obviously it's, this season's going to be, I think, my 20th season with, it's 20th season of watching the sport. This is, I think this is going to be year 7 of me covering the sport. So, I'm excited. I'm always excited. Just get through the holidays and do all that stuff, and then roll into 2023. I'm really excited.
So tell me about some of the names of people that you've interviewed.
Throughout my career, I've been able to talk with a lot of people, but just in the past year, I've gotten to talk to a lot of coaches, lots of people that I never thought I would talk to, would ever talk to again, but just a lot of drivers, over the years, when I was doing all that other stuff. But we've just talked to a lot of people, and
I think of like you the interview with Justin Gatlin.
Yes, that was really it. So you just mentioned the name. I didn't know what you were going after. I thought you were talking about like in the last year, or just in my entire career.
Some big names. You've gotten like big name. I mean, we have local athletes and stuff like that. That's awesome. I love that. But you've had like Justin Gatlin.
So that's an interesting story. So so it was at Toledo, actually. So the ARCA championship race, Justin Gatlin was there for as a guest of Gainbridge, who was sponsoring Rev Racing, which is kind of NASCAR's driver development team. One of their drivers, Nick Sanchez, was going for the championship awkwardly, and then winning the championship later that day. So, I never thought that you'd see a world-class sprinter there. Wow. But it was someone that I didn't expect to see, because you never know who you're going to see at these things. So, Justin Gatlin's been consulting with Gamebridge, and it's interesting to see what Olympic athletes do once their career is over, because you never know what they do. Because, the thing is, once you retire, people forget about you.
Yeah.
Unless you're, stay relevant and stay in television and all that, and, or you have a memorable performance and all that, or you make, some public appearances, do some interviews, see what's what. But
we think about, especially for a track runner, somebody that runs an Olympics, they have like the Olympics every 4 years. You probably run a max, if you're lucky, 3. If you're lucky, from a track runner, 3 to 4.
Yeah. I think he was the fastest. I think he won the gold in 2004.
Yeah.
In Athens. So that was, and the thing is, I know I think he actually tried out for this most recent Olympics, and it was going to be his last one, but it's good to see that he was out there doing some stuff, and last person I expected to see at a racetrack. But yeah, that was an interesting one. I was able to talk to. You never know who you're going to see at these things. Of course, at Michigan, I saw Mel Tucker and Tom Izzo. Of course, the two, the football coach and men's basketball coach at Michigan State.
Yeah.
So, seeing them, and I've known them went back to my college days, but yeah, you never know who you're going to see at these events. So yeah.
And then you just walk up to them and ask them if they for an interview.
Most of the time, yes, awkwardly, but most of the times, for a lot of people, I just, you just can't go up to people. Well, I mean, yes, for some cases, yes, but normally you have to go through so many people. There's so many hoops to jump through, and obviously that's why public relations is so important in that realm. I have a great relationship with most of them. They don't give you what you want all the time, but they'll give you what you want at some point. So that's good. In the high school realm, same thing. Know a lot of athletic directors, know a lot of coaches. So, when been able to get so many athletes over the past, when it's on site or on the podcast format for Zoom. So yeah, it's been fun.
That's pretty cool, because you talk about either using Zoom or using really your phone. You're using just technology.
Yeah,
to really go out and do this.
Yeah, I use but the thing is, you're seeing it a lot more because if you've noticed, when you're, especially during one of those scrum areas and stuff, where either you don't have a TV camera, you don't have a recorder, but everyone's using their phones. It's like, where they're recording. It's like they get it.
Yeah.
Videos on Twitter, YouTube, everything. It's kind of like what this kind of thing is turning into. So
you've gained a ton of experience throughout all of your experiences working at different jobs, obviously, that have accumulated to where you're at now.
Right. Yeah. It's, it has been good, but yeah, it's just like you pick up a lot of things along the way. It's like, you're always learning something. It's like, okay, you're not going to do this again. Okay, you're not going to do this again.
Yes. And that's the thing, is like, we talk about failure, and it's like we learn more from our failure than we learn from our wins.
Yeah.
We learn more from our mistakes or more from those hard life lessons than we ever learn from like winning a game or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just, I've learned so much over time. It's like, it's like you have to, some people will look at you and be like, oh, yeah, it's, I've definitely gotten that. And it's something that I've, had to adjust to over time. But at the same time, you almost feel like, people are going to look at you a different way. And, not everyone's going to like you.
Truth.
Not everyone's gonna, people are going to get at you. People are going to try to make you feel a certain way, make you feel uncomfortable, and doing all that. And don't get me wrong, I've done some of those things too, but
we're human. It happens.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like, I mean, everyone's got something that they've done and went from there, and it's kind of what's kind of relating into it now. But
yeah. No, everybody has something that they are in their heads about. Like that. It's so funny because like I've seen people literally try to wish to be somebody else, and then that person wishes that they were somebody else. And I've
done that.
Stories,
Yeah.
It's like the grass is greener on the other side. You have a different. They might have something that you don't have, but then they have a set of problems that you would never want.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, and this is what this whole show is even about, is just like being authentically who you are, because who gives a shit about those people? Like, who gives a shit about the people that don't like you or the naysayers?
So obviously you have to, obviously have to put up with those people. But the biggest thing is, it's like, you don't have to.
No. You don't.
No.
Because you go out and you do your thing,
No.
you create your show, and you be you, and the people that like you will follow you. The people that don't, they got their own lives.
Yeah, everyone's got their own lives, and everyone's got their own thing, and that's kind of the biggest thing that I've learned throughout all this. It's like, everyone's gonna say things, everyone's gonna bring up different things that have happened, and I've just learned that I've learned from every experience that I've had. That I've had throughout my, my entire life, going to school, going to college, having different jobs. You're just learning all these different types of things, and you go from there.
Mm-hmm. While trying to figure out how to interact with people.
Yeah.
Cause that's gotta be tough.
Yeah, it is.
It's tough, period.
I meet so many new people every day, and, I'm surprised that I've gotten to, it's like, yeah, it's just I've kind of set up this system. I feel like I'm better off now than I was back then. The last few years have I'm kind of a different person than I was before. I just feel like, there's always, always room for improvement, always different things that you can do.
Yep.
But I've kind of taken that approach of, I'm just going to do what I do. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to comment, but I think we live in a world where people don't forget. And
yeah. At the same time, like, and I love it. And I've had this happen where like, we're always changing and evolving.
Yeah.
And you talk about it. I've seen your growth even in these last 2 years. I'm excited to listen to this episode after the fact and then go back and listen to the episode from 2 years ago. But just even in our conversations, like you talk about the stuff that you didn't think was possible, but you vocally outward before were like, that's not possible. What am I going to do? To now you're like, this is what I'm going to do. Like you go out, like your confidence has changed. Like I see a whole lot in you that's changed.
Yeah. It has. It's just different things. Everything happens for a reason, and different, obviously you don't mean to do some of the things that you did, but it's it's what helps you get to where you need to go. Because everyone's got something that they want, and going from there, and I've had a lot of help, a lot of people that believed in me, and we're just going out and doing what I want to do.
Yeah. That's what's cool, because, and again, we talk about like when you find the right people, and they like those people then are in your, they believe in you,
right?
And you get opportunities, right? You're hard carded to the ARCA. You're able to go to these events.
Like that was pretty cool. That was actually, I think, the first year that they did it. So that was nice to not have to worry about, putting credentials in and all that. So, it was, a lot of people have given me a lot of things over the years, and it's kind of worked out, and, everything has kind of worked out into who I am today.
And so cool. And again, if like I'm in that podcast world, I know so many people that have podcasts. So like everybody in the world has a podcast. And so
everyone in the world has a podcast. So the biggest thing with that is what I've always been told is you have to stand out. And what makes you want people to listen to there? It's it's just different things that I've been able to do. And it's just boom.
You like, and this is what I love working with you is like, you know what you want.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I'm helping them try to figure out what is it they want. As we boil down in our conversations, you're like, I don't want to do these controversial interviews. I want to do these one-on-one interviews. I don't want to, you knew what you wanted to do and you're doing that as opposed to trying to get cute and like do stuff that other people wanted you to do.
Right.
And because of that, the people are tuning in and watching.
Yeah.
And going back to that thing, everybody has a podcast. Like so many people have started podcasts to sit and talk about having like, 36,000 hours or 3,600 hours of viewed video time. Like 95% of people that have podcasts do not reach that. Maybe 98% of podcasts. Like we talk about like pro professional athletes versus, YouTube people that actually make money, or are actually growing their stuff and people are actually watching it.
Right.
So many people want what you're growing and what you've grown and what you've done.
Yeah.
And so to do that is, it's really awesome at the end of the day to like put that out there and realize you're not just this podcast. You've got stuff. You're like literally hard carded. You're going out and you're getting these interviews with incredible, famous athletes.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's you've known a lot of people and been able to do a lot of things, and we're just gonna keep going from there.
So awesome, man. So awesome.
Yeah.
Man, this has been an awesome conversation. So like what's next? What's going on this year? What's going to be the fun stuff?
I'm not.
Oh, that's right. You said you're.
Yeah, I'm not ready to because we don't know yet.
I tried again. I tried to get you to tell.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, the answer. Though.
I know.
But, we'll just have to stay tuned.
Awesome, man. Casey, thank you so much for coming down here.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Yep.